Hey guys, welcome to our Facebook Live and our Instagram Live. My name is Lana Osborne Parody and I am here with Blast Fitness with Lana, and today we are talking about 4 tips to get your workouts in when you are short on time. So for those of you that have been kind of signing on to do these lives with me the last couple weeks, you'll know that I've been doing Instagram and Facebook Live, which is why I'm kind of hopping back and forth from screen to screen and not always looking directly at you. So hi, hello, hi Kate, hi Becky. Oh my goodness, so many fun people joining. This is awesome. So what we're talking about today are how to get your workouts in, or 4 of my favorite tips to get your workouts in when you are short on time. So the reason why we're doing this Facebook Live and Instagram Live is because most of my clients and myself tend to say that the main reasons why they tend not to get consistent exercise in is because they're either short on time or they don't have enough energy. And so I wanted to address some of the things that I do, because those are my roadblocks too. Those are the main reasons why I'm more likely to skip a workout if I'm like super busy with work, or I got tons of stuff on the go, or if I'm really low energy, right? Then I'm less likely to get my butt out of bed, to get that workout in, because I can find a million reasons to talk myself out of that workout. And so this brings us to our first tip. And so if you're struggling to get, at least 2 to 3 strength training or like challenging, breathless, sweaty workouts in per week. I'm not talking in this specific segment about, general movement like walking or stretching or gardening or that sort of thing. We're talking about, the more targeted strength building, muscle building, sweaty, kind of more intense style workouts. That's what we're talking about in this segment. So if you're struggling to get at least 2 to 3 of those types of workouts in per week, these 4 tips are definitely for you. So the first tip that I've got for you today is for you to embrace the idea that short workouts are really, really great workouts. So lots of the time when we're skipping workouts because we say that we don't have time or we don't have enough energy, is because we think in our head kind of this like all or nothing idea, or this perfectionism idea, that it's not really a point of me going to the gym for 20 minutes or even 15 minutes because it's not worth it, or it's not enough time, or it's not the type of thing that's going to make an impact. And I'm here to tell you that absolutely it is. So short workouts are really great workouts. You can definitely get a ton of strength building. You can get body composition changes if that's your goal. You can get a ton of energy going. You can feel a lot more consistent with your workout schedule if you are doing short workouts. I'm talking less than 30 minutes, less than 20 minutes, even 15 minutes. Plus, you're more likely to get those workouts in regularly if they are 30 minutes or less, because it doesn't totally disrupt your day. It's not like it's something that is going to take up 2 hours of your time. Obviously, if you are training for a specific event, like a long distance biking event or a half marathon or something, this is not going to apply to you. This is advice for people who are struggling to get 2 to 3 consistent strength training workouts in per week. So that's tip number 1. Embrace the idea that short workouts are really, really great workouts. I honestly have to say, I think there's been maybe less than 5 workouts that I've done that have been longer than 45 minutes in the last 3 years. And I'm feeling pretty strong these days. So that's really something that I've embraced lately, especially since Sloan has come into my life, my daughter. So this brings us to tip number 2, and this is where we're getting into a little bit of tough love, which is not usually my style. I'm kind of more of a, hug and cry it out versus like tough love trainer, but I got a little bit of tough love in me. And so here it's coming for you. Number 2 is, if you're short on time and you're struggling to get your workouts in, there's a pretty good chance that you're not super clear on your priorities. And I'm going to give you a perfect example of that. So if you are spending over 20 to 30 minutes a day scrolling through social media, and you are feeling like you have low energy, achy, lots of pains, not feeling as strong as you could be, not feeling like super confident or empowered in your body because you don't have a ton of strength going on, chances are pretty good that your priorities of spending lots of time on social media or even watching TV, that sort of thing, are not aligned with what you're looking for, your goals, right? So do we want to spend those, probably realistically up to 2 to 3 hours a day if you're checking your phone regularly and you're scrolling, trying to see what the latest posts are, those sorts of things, and you're not spending that time doing, a really short targeted workout, 15 to 20 to 30 minutes, we can exchange some of that time that we're mindlessly scrolling through social media or watching TV, that's not like super impactful, that sort of thing, when you've just got the TV on in the background and you're not totally paying attention, you're just trying to get some maybe downtime, that sort of thing, but you're looking for downtime because you're low energy, and you're low energy because you're not exercising regularly. You can see how it's kind of like a vicious cycle, right? So I totally get that you're probably really busy, that you've got a million things on your plate, that when you get home at the end of the day, the last thing that you feel like is doing is a workout, or when you get the kids down for bed, the last thing that you feel like doing is a workout. And that's totally fine. I understand. However, if we can try to get 20 to 30 minutes in of intense exercise, we're sweaty, breathless, burning, feel like our muscles are pumping, we're lifting enough weight to feel fatigue, before work, in the morning, or at lunchtime, or even right when we get home from work, we can ask, a significant other or neighbor or something to watch the kids so that we can do 20 to 30 minutes of intense exercise. It is going to help us feel like we've got a lot more energy. We'll be less likely to need that kind of mindless downtime, and we're more likely to take really good quality downtime, like having a bath, reading a book, talking with a good friend, going for a walk, all of those sorts of things. So that's tip number 2. Get clear on your priorities. If you're spending, what is typical, which is at least 2 to 3 hours a day scrolling through social media, I have a little cat hair in my mouth, then we need to align our priorities a little bit better with the types of goals that we've got, which is feeling better, more energy, stronger in our body, more empowered because we're spending a little bit more time doing healthy, active movement that makes us feel really good. So this brings us to tip number 3, if you are short on time, to help you get your workouts in. And that is choosing intensity over duration in terms of your workouts. So strength training is the best bang for your buck in terms of if you got 20 minutes or less, 30 minutes or less to exercise, because we can get a fair amount of calorie burn, muscle building activity in that time for a really, really effective workout, and we're going to see great results. So we don't need 60 minutes, 90 minutes, 2 hours, multiple times a week, unless we're training for a specific event, in order to see awesome muscle definition, in order to feel stronger, in order to have more energy. You literally need 20 to 30 minutes, a handful of times a week, even 2 to 3 times a week is a fabulous place to start. But we need to be choosing intensity over duration. So if you're getting your 20 to 30 minute workout in and there's no sweat happening, or there's no sort of burning or muscle fatigue action, or you're not lifting enough to get to that fatigue point, then we need to shift a little bit more intensity in order for that short duration workout to be really worthwhile and get a lot of bang for your buck. And this brings us to our final point. For those of you that are short on time and looking for tips to get your workouts in, this is my favorite. And it's a mantra. It's the opposite of done. Opposite of perfect is done. So if you're like me and you tend to live in perfectionism space sometimes, which means that you're like, yeah, sure, these short workouts are fine, Lana, whatever, but I know what would actually be the best would be to get a 45-minute workout in, or a 1-hour weightlifting class, or that sort of thing. And if you're not able to find the time regularly in your schedule to commit to that, then you need to get off of that bandwagon and onto the bandwagon of the idea of the opposite of perfect is done. So I'm going to give you some examples of this. When you're at the park and your kid's playing and running around, and you spend 10 minutes a couple times a week doing step-ups, hip lifts, walking lunges, maybe you bring your mini band tube with you in your stroller, and you're doing tubing side steps, you're doing some rows on the swing. I'm not joking. I do that multiple times a week, and it literally does help to give me energy. If lots of times I'm playing around with my daughter too, of course, but sometimes I'm throwing those strength workouts in that are 10 minutes long, and it's making a huge dent in my amount of overall activity for the week. It's giving me more energy, it's helping me feel more motivated, and then it's that feed forward cycle that we're looking for. The other thing that I want you to think about with the opposite of perfect is done is that in a perfect world, in our mind, we would have all this time for exercise, or we have these big intentions of getting our workouts in. And if you're finding that you're regularly skipping out on your workouts because you're too tired or you don't have enough time, think about that you want to have your workout be done instead of it being perfect. And lots of the times we're canceling out on ourselves because we have this expectation that a workout has to be perfect, has to have a 10-minute warm-up, has to have a designated cool down, needs to have cardio intervals and strength training in it, needs to be 45 minutes to an hour long or longer, that sort of thing. And I think it's really important to remember that the opposite of perfect is done. I want to say that 90% of my workouts are not perfect, but they are done. And that makes a difference, right? Because something is better than nothing. Over time, all these little bits of something add up into something. And the alternative is we talk ourselves out of getting a workout in because we think it's not going to be perfect enough, and then we don't get it done, right? So then if we're trying to get the thing, if we're trying to just get something done, we end up with something, and all of the somethings add up into a big something, which is results over time, and more energy, and feeling strong, and feeling motivated to tackle all of the other things that we've got going on in our life, our projects, our family, feeling present for our friends, all of those sorts of lovely things. So, quick little recap. My 4 tips to help get your workouts in when you're short on time. Number 1. Embrace the idea that short workouts are really, really, really great workouts. It's 90% of the workouts that I do these days are short. I'm talking at less than 30 minutes, some of them being 10, 15, or 20 minutes long. Tip number 2 is getting clear on your priorities. If you're spending hours a day scrolling through social media or on TV, yes, I'm talking to you. I'm just like you. You absolutely have time to get a short workout in. You can just exchange a little bit of that social media scrolling or that TV time for a little bit of workout. I promise it will pay you back in spades, in energy, in mental clarity, in calmness, in feeling happy because you're getting a little bit of endorphins into your life. Which brings me to tip number 3. Always choosing intensity over duration. If you're not regularly getting workouts in, go for the shorter, more intense workouts. It doesn't have to be running or sprinting or squat jumps. If you want great, safe strength training examples of these, you can click the link on my Facebook. If you're watching on Facebook, click the link on my Facebook post. If you're watching on Instagram, you can click the link that I'll post in my profile, and you can join up onto my email list. Tomorrow morning, I'm sending out 2 safe, effective bodyweight strength training workouts to my email list. So those are perfect examples of all of the things that we're talking about. And there's clickable video links so you can see exactly what each exercise is, where you should be feeling it, how to do it safely and properly. And then finally, point number 4, for those of you that are short on time and struggling to get your workouts in, was the opposite of perfect is done. So choosing that idea of something is better than nothing. Even if it's twice a week or 3 times a week where we're getting 10 to 15 minutes of simple body weight strength training in, it does wonders for our energy, does wonders for building up strength around our core, feeling less aches and pains. It does wonders for supporting our mental and physical health. And then it really, really puts you on the road to feeling more empowered and strong within your body. So I hope this was helpful. Remember, short workouts are definitely, definitely worth your time, especially if you are like me and you don't have a ton of time. You've got lots of different priorities, lots of different projects on the go, and you're looking for some physical results, but you don't have hours a day or hours and hours during the week to commit to exercise. So if you're looking for some specific examples of what those workouts look like, then please head over to, if you're on Instagram, the link in my bio. If you're on Facebook, the link in my post, and join up for my email list, because tomorrow morning, sending out 2 awesome bodyweight workouts that you can do anywhere with no equipment. And they're short, and they're intense, and they're easy to get in no matter if you're at home or at work or in a conference room or in your office or in the park or in your basement or in your living room. You don't need much, okay? So thanks so much for joining me today, and I hope you have a great rest of your Thursday.